Hello and welcome. I'm Nell Payne, and I'm here with Richard Kurin, the Smithsonian's Distinguished Scholar and Ambassador at Large, to discuss the preservation of the Star-Spangled Banner and the generations of women who made sure it would survive so that we could see it today. Richard, please tell us about the history of the flag and the contributions of these women.
Many people, most Americans know about the Star-Spangled Banner as a song, that we sing before athletic events, national celebrations, and so on. It's both celebrated and in some cases protested. But many people don't realize that the Star-Spangled Banner actually refers to that flag. That flag itself was made in 1813, and it was commissioned by the commander of Fort McHenry in Baltimore in 1813. He was commanding that garrison. We were at war with the British, and Mary Pickersgill was a well-known flag maker in Baltimore, and she enlisted her daughter and two nieces and an African-American servant, maybe even her mother, and they sewed two flags for Armistead. One, the larger flag called the garrison flag, was 30 feet by 42 feet. So it was quite a big flag. Just think about it. Every star was 2 feet wide. Every stripe was 2 feet wide. And they sewed 15 stars because at that time the flag had the 13 original colonies and two more for Kentucky and Vermont. Now that flag after the war was really celebrated, occasioned a whole burst of American nationalism. The flag was in the Armistead family. It went on parade. People wanted it. People also wanted pieces of it. And indeed, the Armistead family allowed people and cut out pieces. So the flag, which originally was 42 feet wide, got down to about 34 feet. That is, it actually lost 8 feet because pieces were cut out. Pieces were buried with people. And the flag was really in the hands of Georgiana Appleton, Armistead's daughter. And she kind of said, wait a second, if we keep giving out pieces of the flag, there'll be nothing left. This is a national icon. So she really protected it. During the Civil War, the flag became an object of Confederate desire to get that flag and actually destroy it. And so Georgiana put it in an iron chest, she hid it, and she really protected that flag during the Civil War. After the Civil War, again, it was exhibited, it was displayed, but she really protected it. It fell to her son, who then had it, and he regarded it as both a kind of a burden, actually. And so finally, he sent it to the Smithsonian. And it came to the Smithsonian first on loan in the early 1900s, and then in 1914 was actually donated to the Smithsonian. And the flag was in terrible, terrible disrepair. It was threadbare. Pieces were cut out of it. It was really not cared for. And the Smithsonian hired a very experienced embroiderer, a flag preserver, actually, by the name of Amelia Fowler. And in the Smithsonian Castle, they made a big table and they laid out the flag. And the idea was to protect the flag. Fowler's idea was to protect the flag by sewing a linen backing on the back of it to kind of hold it together because it was so threadbare and falling apart. Fowler had patented a famous honeycomb stitch, and she and 10 seamstresses over about 2-month period put in 1.7 million stitches, 1.7 million stitches to preserve and hold that flag together. So the flag then was displayed at the Arts and Industries building. And then when the American History Museum was built, it went into there and it was hung. And some of the membership might remember seeing that flag hung in the American History Museum. Well, the flag is again huge. It's 3 stories tall. It weighs 150 pounds. And so what happened over the years as that flag was displayed, the threads kind of started separating. And it was exposed to light. The doors of the museum opened, and pollutants and dirt and grime and dust got into the flag. And so what we realized after a study in the 1980s was that the flag was further deteriorating, and we had to do something. And the chief conservator at the Smithsonian Museum of American History was Suzanne Thomassen-Krauss. And she took on what became the largest textile conservation project ever attempted by any museum on the planet. In the end, the project cost about $18 million. Now, this is a project, remember, the flag, when it was bought by Armistead, he paid Mary Pickersgill $405 for the flag. So this is now $18-20 million it was going to cost. But basically what they did, Suzanne had to arrange a special crane to come into the museum to take the flag down. They built a special gallery because we felt this was going to take years to do of conservation. And so it required, we wanted to do it in front of the public, but it required tremendous, tremendous effort because you couldn't really touch the flag, you couldn't lie it, you couldn't crumple it up. So it meant building a gantry, and conservators, literally, most of them women, lying flat a few feet above the flag and literally going thread by thread, spun with dry sponges, vacuuming up little pieces of dirt and grime, and undoing the 1.7 million stitches that Fowler and her seamstresses had put in decades before. So in the end, then the flag was put on display, and Suzanne and the other conservators worked on a new setting for the flag rather than leaving it hanging where it was exposed to light, created a very dark chamber with very little oxygen in it. So if there was ever a fire again in Washington, if ever the British reinvaded and burnt down the White House and the Capitol and the Smithsonian, that flag would still survive because it was in an oxygen-deprived environment. And that's where it seemed today, again, when we're opened by 5 million visitors a year. And you see the threadbare nature of the flag. And you still see the linen and the stitches that Mary Pickersgill and the women of her family and household did to make the flag. You see the efforts of conservators over generations to preserve and hold that flag so that we can all be inspired by it today.